So, yeah.
Shiur is huge. Amazing.
Brachas. I'll tell you, it goes brachas strong, Shabbos, Eruvin is where people lose the stamina. Shabbos
and brachas probably more interesting.
Well, brachas is more interesting. Brachas is gagadata. Shabbos is people relate to it. It's also Megillah Ma'asim, even though you can't pass on anything. Yeah, it's always that way. Eruvin is a challenge in the sense. Oh, right. The back door doesn't work. You saw that?
Sorry?
The back door in the shul. The back door doesn't close. There's nothing with the door. So you have to like pop that. I don't know if that's okay to the security people or something else happening. That closes, you see, but it doesn't hop. And then if you could bring the cable and try this out, that would be great.
Yeah, we will have the best of the best. Look at it. We already have the Chabad.org, Aiden, live.
All right. All right. Oh, moving. Such a pity. So good, and it goes so quick. All right, Yidden. All right, guys. Chevra Bamus. With the help of Hashem, we are learning Brachos Daf Tes. We're going to be learning how Chazal tell us that Kedai Hu Rab Shimon Lismich Olav B'Shas Adchak. This is a phrase that we find various times throughout Shas, but there's going to be a unique understanding of that. Rab Shimon is so great that we can rely on him when we need to. Dafka to our sugya. We're going to learn the question as to until when are we allowed to eat the Korban Pesach. There's really going to be a machlokas tanoim whether we can eat the Korban Pesach until Chatzois, or whether we can eat the Korban Pesach until dawn, until Alois HaShachar. And that's really connected to the various stages, to the two stages that the Jewish people underwent when Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. We're going to be learning about the Shem Kodesh of Eke. That's Aleph, and then a Hey, and then a Yud, and then a Hey. We're going to start on Daf Tes Amud Beis, the new Mishnah, Me'emus HaKoren Neshama B'Shachris, and we're going to have the various shiurim, Mishiyaker ben Tchelos L'Lovin, Mishiyaker ben Tchelos L'Karti. We're going to be learning about the concept of Vasikin. Vasikin, Rashi says, are people that are both humble and they're mechavev in mitzvahs and they daven at the most ideal time, as we are familiar with many minyanim. In every city today there's a minyan Vasikin. We're going to go back to the sugya of Soimer Geula L'Tefilla, and we're going to learn about as to why do we put at the end of the Shemona Esrei the pasuk of Tehillim, when really, as the Gemara is going to explain, that pasuk makes just as much sense putting it at the end. We could have put it also in the beginning. Why dafka do we put it at the end? And here, Daf Tesamot Beis is where the Gemara that tells us that initially, when David HaMelech put together the Tehillim, what we call nowadays Kapitlach Aleph and Beis were really one kapitel, which means Kapitel Yutes was Kapitel Yutes. And a very gavaldik word of the Rebbe, what we can learn when you get to one of our minhagim, from the fact that Aleph and Beis used to be one kapitel. With that, let us start on Daf Tes Amid Aleph. We left off at the end of the fourth line from the top of the Amid. The Gemara just brought the second version that it told us that one may read Shema of night, even after Alois, before Nates, as long as it is before Nates. So on that, Amar Rab Zayden, that even in such a scenario, Ubelvad Shelo Yomer Hashkideinu, right? Second bracha that we make at night after the Shema. First bracha is Gol Yisrael. Second bracha is Hashkideinu, right? We ask Hashem, lay us down, Father, in peace. Hashkideinu V'in L'Shalom. That cannot be said at night. In other words, at night, after Alois. If after Alois, it's night enough, because if it's going to mean while people are still in bed, some people are still in bed before Nates. But to say lay us down means we're going to sleep. No one goes to sleep after Alois. So it's not night, Benegeya, everything, it's only night. B'diavad Benegeya reading the Shema. Says the Gemara, Ki Asi Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef Amar. Amar ha, the Rab Acha, the Rab Chanina, Amar Rabbi Shua ben Levi, what we just learned, that what? That the halacha follows Rab Shimon bar Yochai, B'Shem Rab Akiva, that you could read the Shema at night, even after Alois, as long as it is before Nates, and so we paskin. However, this Lav B'Feir Shitman, it wasn't said so explicitly, that this is the halacha. Ela Michlala Itmer, we understood it by ways of implication, and a lot of halachis are learned by ways of implication. What happened? There was a group of young scholars, the Ishtakur Behilula Diberei Rabbi Shua ben Levi, that they got the Freilach. The Rebbe told my mother, Ayid Vet Neshikir, Ayid is Freilach. My mother was in 770, in 1947, 1948, on Simchas Torah. So she looked at her father and she says, that Jew is Shikir. The Rebbe was behind him. The Rebbe wasn't happy. The Rebbe told my mother that a Jew is not Shikir, a Jew is happy. A Jew is happy, Freilach. So the Rebbe said that they got happy, and the Hilul of the son of Rabbi Shua, they got so happy that they couldn't read the Shema. Because, first of all, when a person is under a certain amount of influence, they may not daven. We'll learn about these dinim later. And Mistam, it means they fell asleep. And they woke up after Alois. It was before Nates. And they came in front of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi to ask him, halacha l'maisa, can we say the Shema or not? And he tells them, so he didn't say the words, halachi kid Rab Shimon bar Yochai, in the name of, he says, kedai hu Rab Shimon lismechala b'shas adchak. That kedai, Rab Shimon is great enough that when you have to, like we spoke out yesterday, that the Rambam paskins, that when could you say the Shema of night after Alois before Nates, if there was a real oinus. Like in this case, a person drank not moderately, and therefore they were unable to say the Shema or they fell asleep. So in such a case,
is linear than Reb Shimon Gamliel.
So the pshat will be that this is not an argument with, but let's go with the pshat. There's many ways of learning the Gemara. That the pshat of Rabbi Gamliel is that uv'shachbacha means when people are sleeping. So based on that concept, he says, some people, sometimes they even sleep after Alois, not after Nates. but after Alois. So Kedai Rab Shimon Lismecholov b'shas adchak and taka b'shas adchak. Just to see a gewaldige word that the Rashbi represents the Pnimius HaTorah. What are we speaking about? We're speaking about the time at the end of the night. So Beruch is the end of Golus. And what happens at the end of Golus? That there was a Gilui of the Torah of the Rashbi. Yechab? Kedayu Rab Shimon Lismecholov that b'shas adchak, the whole Golus is adchak, and especially at the end of Golus came along a Baal Shem Tov, came along Chasidus Chabad, and they were Megal the Pnimius HaTorah. And this is what gives us koyach, because we have them to lean on until the imminent coming of Mashiach. Now, Amen. Okay. Maise Shabo Bana V'chuli. Now, Frek the Gemara, what happened of it? That the sons of Rabbi Gamliel, right, in the Mishnah also, they went on a Hilula. The Mishnah says they went to a Beis Mishnah, and many people understand Beis Mishnah means they went to a mitzvah Mishnah. So let's say it was a wedding, and they tell their father, we didn't read yet. Did they never hear the father's opinion? In the Mishnah, we have three opinions. Rabbi Eliezer, the Chacham of Rabbi Gamliel says, until Alois HaShachar, what they never knew what the father held. Answers the Gemara, of course they knew what their father held. But they also knew that there was different opinions in Tanoim, and then there is halacha lemaisa. Like we learned till yesterday. Sharei Tzion, Shiurim HaMitziyonim Ba'alocha. Dvar Havaya Zu Halacha. Something else. So this is what they were asking their father. Is when we learned the three shitas and the Chachamim say until midnight, is the Pshat Rabbanim Pligi Ilavach that the Chachamim hold that Me'ikir Adin you may only say it until Chatzos. You have a third opinion. If that will be the Pshat, if it's a Machlekes Chachamim and Rabban means the head of the Sanhedrin, but still is a Yachid. So if do the Chachamim argue with you, and then we would say the Yachid v'Rabba Malachi Kirabim, Oy Dilma Rabbanan Kavasach Svidalu, that the Chachamim agree with you. V'hai de Ka'amri Ad Chatzois, it's only Kedei Laharchik Odem B'no Aveda. And if that's the case, true, we should have abided by the Rabbanan Dik at midnight. But if we missed that, two wrongs don't make a right. Just because we missed out the Rabbanan, but let us at least chaparayin the Din Doiraisa. So Amar Lahu, that was the question. And that was the answer. That the Chachamim and I have the same shita. Rabbanan Kavasi Sfira Lahu. V'chayav because it's not Alois. V'haydik Amri Ad Chatzois, as the Mishnah concluded at the end of Nav Beis, Kedei Laharchik Adam Min Ha'aveh. Then the Mishnah continued, V'loisu B'lvad Amru. Right? It's not the only case that where really a mitzvah is until dawn. And as Rashi learned in the Mishnah gave two more examples. One is from Hektir Chalavim Ve'evonim. There the mitzvah is ad alois. Then the Mishnah gave the din of B'chol HaNecholim L'yoy Mechad. By Necholim L'yoy Mechad, which means most of the karbanis can be eaten day and night. There the Chachamim also said until midnight, and they're also really until day and the whole night, until alois. Why the Chachamim say until Chatzois? So says the Gemara ben Rabban Gamliel, Mi ka'amar ad Chatzois. Sounds like he's speaking about his shita. Rabban Gamliel never said that there is a Chatzois. Rabban Gamliel says until alois. That's the way we learn Pshat. So when he's the one saying all this, what exactly is he saying? Does he subscribe to that? Mi ka'amar ad Chatzois the Ketani v'loizu b'vad, and the Bach takes out the words Amru. So the Gemara says, Mamash, this is a hemshech to the prior piece of the Gemara. Rabbi Gamliel was telling his sons what the shit of the Chachamim are, because they are basing themselves on the correct premise. Yachid v'Rabim halacha kerabim. They want to know what shittas Chachamim is. So he's telling them what the Chachamim are. That Hachi Kamar Rabbi Gamliel lebnei afilu l'Rabbanan dikamri ad Chatzois. Here, in other cases, really mitzvah sa'at sheyalam od hashachar. Now the Mishnah did give two other dinim that are until alois. One is hekter chalavim ve'evarim. The chalavim are chalavim from all the karbanis, have to be burnt on the mizbech. By your oila, you even burn the limb themselves. Now, what the Mishnah spoke about is b'chol hanechalim l'yoyim echad. Now, what does that include? Okay, one thing, it excludes shlamim, because shlamim, as we just came off kachim, can be eaten shnei yamim b'layla echad. Not shnei yamim, one after the other. It's the day that you shechted, the subsequent night, and the subsequent day. So we're not talking about the shlamim because we're speaking about dinim that have to do with the night. But aside of the shlamim, and even in the shlamim, toida is a type of shlamim, can also only be eaten a day and a night. But whatever can be eaten for the night, hold on, there is one carbon that's not included in the cholim l'yom echad. What carbon may not be eaten on the day that it's slaughtered? It's a unique carbon. Pesach. Okay? Pesach, like every other carbon, has to be slaughtered by day. The zrikas hadam has to be dafke by day, but it may not be eaten at day. That is only eaten at night. Now, the question is, do we say by Pesach also that really it could be eaten until Alois? And the only reason why the Chachamim said until Chatzos is lahar chakadam in Aveda? Or perhaps Pesach midoiraisa can only be eaten until midnight. And that would fit better with the fact that the Mishnah Dafka is not speaking about a Pesach. The Mishnah is speaking about only karbanos that can be eaten liyom echad. In other words, ve'ilu achilas Pesach, the Mishnah doesn't speak about. You know why? Because Pesach mido oiraisa cannot be eaten after midnight. And indeed, so holds our Mishnah. But based on the premise that everyone agrees to it, I think about it in Mini Yava Astira, according to Braisa, says in a Braisa, Krishma Arvis, and the Halal Belelli Pesachim, and the Achilas Matzah, Achilas Pesach. By the way, the claimant today is in the place of the Pesach, Mitzvos and Ad, Shiyala Mud HaShachar. So, why didn't the Mishnah mention this as well? When the Mishnah says Necholim L'Yom Echad, Pesach is not Nechol L'Yom Echad. The Mishnah Dafka did not include Pesach. Why not? Amar Rabbi Yosef Lo Kasha. Our Mishnah follows Rabbi Elazar ben Azari. The Braisa that we just quoted, that even the carbon Pesach, which would mean, therefore, the matzah, the afikoimen, which midai raisa can be eaten until Alois, Rabbi Akiva, Nochanes. If today people would pass like Rabbi Akiva, guys, the Seder, we come into Shul Pesach morning, each one boasting, we finished our Seder 2, we finished our Seder 3. That's the miracle is that you have to eat afikoimen by midnight. If the afikoimen could be eaten by Alois, you understand, by the Lubavitch and Minyan, by 10 a.m. they would still be having the Seder. They would outdo the Seder done from Bnei Brak. The Tanya, Rabbi Elazar ben Azari had Rachmanas on us. The Tanya. So what's the machlekes based upon? So there's a pasuk in Boy. In Boy it says, "Va'achlu es habasar hazeh, es habasar balayla hazeh." Rabbi Elazar ben Azari oimer, nemar kan balayla hazeh. V'nemar lahalon, also in Boy, va'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim balayla hazeh. I will pass through Egypt on this night. So we have Gzeira Shava balayla hazeh, malahalon. Mahalan Vavarti Beretz Mitzrayim, my friends, is Makas B'chayris. When did Makas B'chayris happen? At Chatzos. You have to understand what the meaning of At Chatzos, but it's connected dafka to midnight. Afkan, Balayla Hazeh, that when do we eat the basar? At Chatzos. Amalei Rabbi Akiva, Vahaloi, can't be, because it says, V'kacha, also benegea, the parsha of the mitzvah of eating the Pesach. V'kacha, toichlun oisai, by masnechem, chagurim, v'goymer, etc. And the pasuk says, V'chaltem oisai, b'chipazai. You should eat it in haste. So says Rabbi Akiva, it means at shas chipazai, until the time of haste. What is the time of haste? So Rashi Gavaldi brings, since we were told by Hashem, then, or even though Makas B'chayris happened at midnight, but we were commanded to stay in our homes that had the dam of the Pesach, and Al Pi the Midrash had the dam of the Bris Milah, on the mezuzahs. We needed to stay in our homes until the morning, at Boiker. Then we left Egypt in haste. So we rushed out of Egypt. All of us came, it took us from morning until Chatzos Hayom to come to Sukkos, L'Ramses, which was where we walked, Ramses and Sukkos, where we walked out of Egypt. But when did we start leaving? In the morning. So when did we walk? When did we start hasting, rushing out of Egypt? In the morning. Until then, you can eat the Pesach. At shas chipazah. Why did the pasuk have to say b'chlal the words balayla? The Torah could have says v'achlu asabasar, eat the meat, right? B'chipazah. If Chipazim means eat it until Shas Chipazim, we would understand it's at night. Because if not for the words Laila, you would think that Yehi Nechel Kachim, that you would be able to eat the Koren Pesach like Kachim, which means Bayoim. Bayoim, my friends, doesn't mean the next day. Bayoim here means the day that you shechted it. Even in Egypt, we shechted the Pesach on the 14th. So, but you can't eat it on the 14th. But without the words Balayla, you would think you can eat it from when you shechted until Shas Chipazim, until the morning. Talmud Leimer Balayla. Balayla hu necha b'lay bayim. Okay. Now, says the Gemara, Bishloima, let Abelazar ben Azariah, the Islay Gzeir Shava. That's why the Torah wrote the words, not only Balayla, but Balayla Hazeh, because the Gzeir Shava is from Balayla Hazeh, Balayla Hazeh. Ela Rabbi Akiva, Hi Hazeh, my Yavidlay. If all you need to do is to tell you, you can eat it only at night and not in the day prior, so the Torah should have written, eat it, Balayla. V'achlu asabasar, Balayla. Excluding the day prior. Answers the Gemara that you have to exclude something else as well. And what would that be? Lema'utei laila achar hu da'asa. Day prior, you can't eat it. You can't eat the Pesach on the day that you shechted. All the other karbanos, the ones that are eaten, of course, could be eaten as of the Zirik Asadam, the Hektar Chalavim, still during the day. Here, you can't eat it during the day of the Shechita. But you would think, since Pesach is in the category of Kachum Kalim, and Shlamim is also in the category of Kachum Kalim, Ema Shlamim Necholin Lishnei Yomim V'Layla Echad, you can eat the Shlamim the day you shechted, the subsequent night, the subsequent day. Af Pesach, it's not going to be an exact mirror, but it's going to be similar, meaning you would think you can eat it 2 nights in the place of 2 days. In other words, you mistakenly would have said V'yehi Nechol Lebeis Leilois V'yoyim Echad. So you shechted on the 14th. You would think that you can eat it the night of going into the 15th, and then the night going into the 16th. When the Gemara says the words, you can think that you can eat it for 2 nights and 1 day, Rashi importantly says, the 1 day doesn't mean that you would think you can eat it during the day. The Torah says night, even without the words hazeh, night means night. Nor was then, it doesn't become noiser during the day. So explains Rashi. But if you don't eat it during the first night, balayla, then you would mistakenly think you can eat it the next night. That's why the Torah wrote the words balayla hazeh, not only this night. Balayla hazeh o nechol, then nechol balayla acher. So holds Rabbi Akiva. Okay. Abelazar ben Azariah, how does he know that you can't eat it on the subsequent night? He can't learn it from the word hazeh, because Abelazar ben Azariah uses balayla hazeh to make a gzeira shava that you can only eat the Pesach until Chatzois. So the Gemara says, we know it from another pasuk. When it says, Meloi sosiru, don't allow the meat to be left over ad boiker. So read it, eat it at night, and the moment that you hit morning, it's already nicer. So from that, you know that you can't eat it the subsequent night. And Abba Akiva says, from that would not suffice. You need the hazeh. Because Ima Hassan Havamina, my boiker, don't leave it over until morning. Maybe it means boiker sheni. The morning of the 16th, not the morning of the 15th. And when Abelazar Omar, kol boiker rishon. Okay. The Gemara goes weiter. And we find the same machloikis in the following works of Tanoim, and we're quoting now a Braisa. Now this Braisa is not basing itself on the Psukim and Parshas Boy, but we have in Parshas Re'eh, we read this on Yom Tov. There the Torah also mentions regarding the holiday of Pesach, and the Torah says, Shom Tizbach Esa Pesach Ba'arev Kivoy Hashemesh Moyet Seis Chomim Mitzrayim. We're familiar with these words because we read it so often. But these words in one breath mention 3 different zmanim, and you have to reconcile them. Bo'erev, you know what erev means? Erev means afternoon. Kavoy Hashemesh means sunset. Then it says, Moed Seis Chamim Mitzrayim. When did we leave Mitzrayim? We left Mitzrayim during the day. So when exactly do we eat it? It's like 3 shiurim. So Rabbi Eliezer says like this, Bo'erev ato zevech. When do we shecht it? Like any other carbon, in the afternoon. And as we'll learn soon in Masechtas Pesachim, you shecht the Talmud shel bein harba'im. And then You shechted early out of Pesach, and then in the afternoon is when you shechted. Kivoi Hashemesh, once the sun sets, guys, this is Berachos Daf Beis. Kivoi Hashemesh means sunset. The day goes away, right? Kivoi Hashemesh v'tohed. Kivoi Hashemesh ato'echel. And the third shiur, Moyed says Chamim Mitzrayim. Once you hit the time that we left Egypt, which means day, then you have to burn it. Notice, it becomes nicer in the morning. Rabbi Shua Omer, but erev ato zeveach, you shechted afternoon. Kivoi Hashemesh, night ato oichel. However, ba'ad mosai ato oichel v'hoilach, but until when can you eat it? Ad moed says Chamim Mitzrayim, until when you leave Mitzrayim. Now you tell me exactly, how is Rabbi Yeshua arguing with Rabbi Eliezer? Are they not saying the same thing? Eloma, Rabbi Eliezer says that the moed seischa, the morning is for burning. Rabbi Yeshua is emphasizing you eat it until the morning. Is the charaya that Rabbi Eliezer, when he says that you burn it by the morning, but until when can you eat it? Only until midnight. And read inside the Rashi. Ad mosayato oichel. Ad mosayato oichel. That's Rabbi Yehoshua. That's mamish like Rabbi Akiva. Not like our Mishnah. He holds that Pesach can be eaten at least midoraisa until the morning. The Tanach here, that's Rabbi Eliezer, he holds you can only eat it until night. It becomes nicer in the morning. But eating until midnight.
That's the same as it was when I was hiding.
Yeah, and if you and because if you're not going to learn that shot says Rashi, then they're not arguing. It's his emphasis that the morning shir is for noisar, not for eating. The shir of eating ends earlier. So here again we have a machlikas tanoim. Until when can you eat the carbon pesach midoy rice? Till midnight or until alois, until the morning.
But if rice is in the morning, what is Rabbi Eliezer and Azariah think about from chatzos until the morning?
In other words, you should have eaten it, but it's not noisar yet. It doesn't have to go together. Those who hold that you may only eat it until midnight, but burning, noisar, it only becomes in the morning.
Right, so what about from chatzos until
Nothing,
the
you
morning?
do nothing. Not you eat nor you burn.
It waits until it becomes nicer.
You wait until it becomes nicer. We learned that many times. That sometimes you have to wait until Yoitz in the base absor. Omar Rab Abba, Hakoil Moidim, that Kishino Ga'alu, Yisrael, Mitzrayim, Loy Negalu, Elu Ba'erif. That there is a night redemption. And that happened by night. And let me go more. When did the Egyptian tell us to leave? At night. Everyone is made that Levichashe Yatsu, but when did we actually leave? We quoted the pasuk in Rashi. God tells us, means we were in our homes until the morning. So when did we leave? By Yom. As it says, HaPesach Yotzu B'nei Yisrael Biyad Rama. Al Menechliku. What is the machlokes? To define the meaning of Shas Chipazoin. Like it says again in the pasuk in Boi, Va'achaltem Oisai B'Chipazoin. What is the time of Chipazoin? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah holds, my Chipazoin, we're looking on the Chipazoin of the Mitzrayim, the ones who kicked us out. From when did they start rushing us out? From the night, from midnight. Rabbi Akiva holds, we don't care about when the Egyptian told us to go. We are looking about when we began to leave. Rabbi Akiva Savar, my Chipazoin the Yisrael. In other words, there's two stages to the redemption. There's when we were told to leave and when we actually left. Oh, Tanya Nami Hachi. It's interesting, by the final Geula, it's mamish the opposite. We are hasting to leave. That's the last avodah that Rebbe told us, that we're dying to get out of Golos. We're waiting to be told to get out of Golos. There, we were told to get out of Golos, but we waited until the morning. Because that's what God wanted it. Tanya Nami Hachi, Chotziach, Hashem Alekachem Mitzrayim Laila. Laila, fragte the Braisa, V'chiba Laila Yotzu, Halol Yotzu Alabayoyim. Shidem and Mimachras HaPesach Yotzu B'nei Yisrael B'Yodrama. Elamalamed, Shizchil Olehem Geula Mibo'erev. No, there was two stages in the redemption. The redemption began when we were notified when we can leave. Not stop notified, they were rushing us to leave. There was a chipazah, there was a haste. And then there was in the morning when we, imagine all the Yidden, From the morning until midday, they hit the boundary, the border, and then be'etzam hayom hazeh, we left Mitzrayim. Dabar no ba'oznei ha'am. Right, going back to Psukim and Parshas Boy. Right, v'g goymer. It says, v'yisha'alu ish me'eis re'eyu, v'isha me'eis ra'usa, chlei chesev, u'chlei zov. That we were supposed to go out with stuff. Amri devei Rabbi Yana. That when daber no means please. So ein no el lashon bakash. Please is a term of there is an appeal being made. And what was the appeal? Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe. And God Almighty is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm asking of you. I'm appealing to you. Lech ve'emer lehem leYisrael. You go and say the following words to the Yidden. Moshe Rabbeinu also used the words, please, bibakasha mikem. I'm pleading with you. Sha'alu mi Mitzrayim, before you leave, borrow from the Egyptians. Klei chesed v'klei zav, their silver and their gold. Why did Hashem now, being that why do you have to make an appeal? If there's an opportunity to go out with another few dollars, you have to appeal to people. You have to appeal to people. Shalo yoymar oisot tzaddik. So that tzaddik should not say, turning off Testament base, who's that tzaddik referring to? Says Rashi, Avraham Avinu, that in Parshas Lech Lecha, by the Bris Bein Absarim, what did God Almighty tell Avraham? That Va'avadum, that his descendants will be enslaved by this foreign nation, and V'inu Oisam, and they will be afflicted. And that happened. So Avraham Avinu is going to tell God, that kiyam b'hem. Oh, that was fulfilled. Mahadrin min ha-mahadrin. But the words that God promised that we will then leave with tremendous wealth, if we would not leave with great wealth, then Avraham Avinu would tie that to God Almighty. Here's a very big lesson over here, because when it came to Parshas Va'era, after Moshe Rabbeinu told God Lo Mahari Yoisa, so what did God tell Moshe Rabbeinu that Chabal da'adan lo mishtaychem? Right, that you're questioning, but I missed the patriarchs that never questioned. Here the Gemara is saying that Avraham Avinu would question. Elama, the big difference. When did Avraham Avinu not question? When God told him something for himself. That you'll be blessed with a great nation. Then God tells Avraham Avinu to take Yitzchak and to bring him up to the Akedah. That was to Avram. But when it comes to the Yidden, even Avraham Avinu would question God. All right, and if you have a better answer, give the better answer. Amrulai. So what happened is that indeed, that Moshe Rabbeinu asked us to make sure that before we leave, we borrow the gold and the silver of Egypt. But when the Yidden heard that request, you know what they responded? Amrulai, valavai shenetza batzmeinu. We want to get out of Egypt. We don't need the gold. We don't need the silver. We want to get out now. We want Mashiach now. Because they were not told by Moshe, leave now. They were told Moshe, when you're going to leave, go out with wealth. So they told Moshe to tell God, we would rather leave now empty-handed than to leave tomorrow with gold and silver. A mashal is of a person who's in jail. And people would tell the incarcerated one that we should know, or that wherever you put the comma. People told him, he was told that people are going to take him out tomorrow from jail. And tomorrow, when you're being free, the noist and you'll be given a lot of money. You know what he responds? Do me a favor. Get me out today. And I don't care if I go out empty-handed. You know, you asked Svika yesterday, what's the message of all these magnetic plates? I was thinking that traversing, right? What do we learn from that? We learn from that is that metal is wealth. That when you're going through the ocean, you don't need to go with wealth. Sometimes wealth sinks you down. Give me your money, not to me, to tzedakah. Maybe that's the word. No, they didn't want the wealth. They just wanted to go. They wanted to travel. And sometimes people have a problem traveling. What drowns them? Their gold and their silver. Okay. Then it says Vayashilum. Right? It says in the pasuk Vashem Nasa Neschein Ha'am Hazeh Ve'ein Mitzrayim Vayashilum. Now in Lashon HaKodesh, if you just want to write that the Egyptians taka lent, the Torah could have says vayashilu without the final mem. The final mem means that they were compelled to lend it. Amar Avami, so there was some sort of coercion. The question is, who was compelled? Melamed shehishilum ba'al karcham. And who was compelled? Machlokes. Ikada amri ba'al karcham d'Mitzrayim. That the Egyptians were compelled. And like the Marsha speaks out, that during Makas Choshech, when we went into their homes and we saw where they're hiding their treasures, now when we asked them to lend, they said that we're alien. So he says, no, I want you to give me that golden X, Y, and Z that's hidden in that drawer. In other words, since we knew where they hid their valuables and we told it to them, so they felt compelled to give it to us. They couldn't lie to us. That the Yidden didn't want to schlep it out. Can you imagine? There comes a point where it's so much money that even you say enough. It's just weighing me down. Wow. Man, the Omar Bal Karcham de Mitzrayim, because it says, as it steht in Tehillim Samaches, Unevas Bayis, and the dwellers of the home, the dwellers from within Techalek Shalol, they apportion the Shalol. Shalol means when you go to war, the victor takes booty from the losing party. That's called Shalol. So the fact that we are calling that wealth Shalol, that's because they didn't want to part with it. But since we knew where it is, so that coerced them, that forced them, so to say, to give it to us. By the very Mishum Masri, Pasha makes sense. It became a burden. It became too heavy. Now, today you can deposit the money in the bank account. It's not heavy. The account weighs the same. Okay. Vainatzlu es Mitzrayim. Vainatzlu means that we emptied out Egypt. So Amar Avami. So there's two versions here. Melamed Sha'asuha, that we made Egypt kimitsuda, like a trap. She'ein boy dagon, that has no grain. Like Rashi says, when you trap birds, so to get the birds near the trap, you put grains. The birds come to get the grain. When they come to get the grain, you chop them. If the trap has no grain, no birds are going to go in there. Because Egypt had so much gashmias, grain is gashmias, that the whole world would come to Egypt. Once we left Egypt and we took all their wealth, it's not just that we left Egypt. We took away the whole kayach of Egypt. We took away all their money. They were no longer the attractive nation. And the Reish Lakish Amar, the same but different. That Asua Kimitzula, we made it like the depths of the waters. She'ein Bahem Dagin, that has no fish. Fish normally live in the higher parts of the waters. There's more oxygen, there's more food there. And L'chu'ura, the difference between Rav Ami and Reish Lakish, Rav Ami is speaking about Gashmias. We took out all of their finances. That's dagon, grain, and fish, and waters is ruchnias. That means that all of the wisdom of Egypt, the good, we took out. As we just learned in Tanya, right at the end of Perek Ches, we take the chachma of the nations and we use it where we elevate the sparks of chachma. The Mitzrayim had a lot of chachma. And whoever heard about the Egyptians, the Egyptians are not known today to be the big chachamim. Because the good of their chachma we took out when we left Mitzrayim. Now we're going to the beginning of Parshas Boy. That Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem that I'm going to come to the Yidden and I'm going to tell them that you sent me to take them out. They're going to ask me what's God's name. So what did God tell them? Eke, Asher Eke. The shame of Aleph and a Hey and a Yud and a Hey. Now, just to know the pshat of this. That now the holiest name, right? Shem Havaya is Yud and a Hey, and then a Vav and then a Hey. In the future, it's not going to be a Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey. It's going to be a Yud and a Hey and a Yud and a Hey. Bayemahu Yihiyeh Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. And there's no time, but that's the whole Chassidus. That it's going to be this world will become so refined that the Vav means that godliness has to be drawn down to a whole lower level. The world won't be that lowly. It's going to be a refinement of the world. So Shem will be Yudkei and Yudkei. Now Yudkei and Yudkei is in the Taich, he will be. So when we speak about Hashem in the future, we're going to say Yudkei Yudkei, he will be. What happens when Hashem speaks about himself in Lashon HaKodesh? So you don't say Yihiyeh, you said Eheyeh. I shall be. That's the pshat of Eke. So Eke asher Eke. I shall be as I shall be. Amar le HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'Moshe, leich amar lam Yisrael. What's that? I shall be. Ani ha'yisi machem b'shibud zeh. I was with you in Egypt. Va'ani ehye machem b'shibud malchis. I will be with you in the future galus. And the Rebbe explains this beautifully. That when they asked Moshe when Moshe says they're going to ask you what your name is, what do they mean with that? We all knew God. We were maminim b'nei maminim. They wanted to know whether God was with us or not. Because the whole meaning of a name, if I am by myself, I don't need a name. I need a name when I'm interacting with others. For you to call me, for me to call you, we need to have names. So the Golus was so bad in Egypt that it appeared that God is not with us. What's your name? What's your midah? And God responded, tell them, I was with them. I was with you in your tzara. And not only was I with you now, I will always be with you. That was the response. So Amar Lefanav, so Moshe Rabbeinu tells Hashem, it's nice to know that you were with us, but that's already in the past. We were about to leave. Who needs to hear now that there's going to be another Golus? And you'll be with us. They didn't want to know about another Golus. So that's why I got it. So instead of saying, it changed. And it doesn't say Eke Asher Eke Sholachani Aleichem, because God accepted that counter from Moshe Rabbeinu. Now that we speak about L'chayra, double Eke Asher Eke, so we have also Aneni Hashem Aneni. We have this above by Davav and Medalov. Omar Rebbe Abohu Lama Omar Elyahu Aneni Beis Pa'amin Belamed She'Omar Elyahu Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right, the Harakarma. They put up Karbanos, the Baal and Lahavdil, Eliyah Navi put up Karbanos Lashem. But no one was allowed to put up the fire. So Eliyah Navi, first of all, asked God, answer me, that the miraculous fire should come down from the heavens. And it shouldn't be Azaruchnistic fire, it should also manifest Bigashmias, it should consume Kol Asher Alam Mizbeach. But even if God will make that miracle, that's not enough. Va'aneni, and answer me also, shetosiyach daitam, that they should divert their attention, meaning, kedei shelo yomru ma'asek shafamim. Sheneman, as it says, indeed, va'ato hasivoisa esli b'machinan, is that you turn their hearts back. You know what the pshat is? You turn their hearts back. You turn their hearts back to me, to God. Because even after people witness a miracle, they can go, they can blame it on something else. So first you have to ask for a miracle to happen. Then you have to ask that Hashem should have Rahmanis, and what? And the miracle should be taken to heart. Davening for someone else's Yirah Shamayim, basically. It was davening that they should attribute the miracle to God. Okay, moving on to the new Mishnah. Now says the Mishnah, now that we established the first one was Ba'arvin, with all the different shitas on Daf Beis. Now we're going on the Emusai Koren Nashama B'Shachas. So says the Mishnah, Nishiyakim Ben Tchelis L'Lovin, when there's enough natural light for you to differentiate between the blue dyed part of your tzitzis known as tchelas, we learned to some menachas. So there's a certain fish or sea creature called the chilazoin, and its blood is used to dye some of the wool into what we call tchelas color, and people ideally should have it on their tzitzis. And when it's dark, you cannot differentiate between the tchelas and the lovin, as the Gemara will explain in much more detail. It's not the way it sounds. But when there's enough light for you to be able to tell, this is tchelis and that's lovin, that's enough light. From then on, you may read the Shema of the day. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, no, ben tchelis lekarte. It has to be even more light in order for you to be able to differentiate between the tchelis, which is a bluish, karti leek is green. See, blue and green are a lot more similar than blue and white. So you need to have even more light to be able to make this differentiation between tchelis and karti. Now, either you're going to v'goymra or not. Ad hanetz achama, until sunrise. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, you can say the Shema even until later, the morning Shema. Ad shalois sha'os. Shalois sha'os means until the end of the third hour of the day. And here again, hours are not the hours of your watch or of your clock. They are dafka sha'os maniyos. Hours, you take the daytime and you divide it into 12, whether there are many hours or not. So every hour will have less than 60 minutes or more than 60 minutes. Sha'os maniyos, seasonal hours. You can say Shema for the first 3 hours after Nates. Until the end of the third hour. Why? Same concept of uvikomecha. Uvikomecha means when people are getting up. Shekei derech malachim la'amoid b'shaloi sha'ois. They're still rising. And if you did not say the Shema until the end of Soiv Zban Kriya Shema, says the Mishnah, HaKoyre mekan ve'elach, if you read it afterwards, lo hifsid, you didn't lose, but you didn't get the mitzvah of Kriya Shema. Ka'adam HaKoyre ba'Torah. Interesting lashon, because a person who reads in Torah, we would hope, is more than only the lo hifsid. It means there's no plus, there's no negative. That's what the Mishnah seems to be saying. The Mishnah means to say that you don't get the mitzvah of Kriya Shema, but you get the mitzvah of you get something. That's not pshat lo hifsid. Lo hifsid normally means you get nothing. You didn't lose. You make a business, halavai, you shouldn't lose money. Before you cholam about how much money you're going to earn and what you're going to do with it.
As it relates to the mitzvah of Kriya Shema, you get nothing.
Okay.
You're getting living Torah, which is...
Okay, it's an interesting lashon. Right. Says the Gemara. First of all, my bein tchelos l'lavin. When the Mishnah, the Tanach says, Mishiyakid, bein tchelos l'lavin. Don't think it means the way it sounds. Chumash and Rashi, Gemara and the Mishnah. Without the Gemara, you have no understanding of what the Mishnah is saying. Ilema, do you think it means that you have a gevava, you have a bundle, we just had these words above, the amra chivara, you have a bundle of white wool, and you have another gevava of amra the tchelta of blue wool. And you need to have enough light to differentiate. That's what it means. You know why? Because even with the moonlight, you can see the difference. You don't need the day. You don't need any natural light of the day. Elo, you know what it means? Now, again, learn the Gemara without Rashi. You also don't understand what you're reading. It doesn't mean that you're looking down at your tzitziyos. So Rashi says you have a bundle of wool and you dyed it with tchelis, but you didn't dye it properly. So the dye of the chilazim did not penetrate the whole bundle. So in the bundle you have a couple of pieces of wool that are dyed but not dyed enough, says Rashi. Look inside Rashi. That's a whole different thing. Not looking down at your tzitzis, the blue and the white. If you have a bundle of wool, some of it is properly dyed with tchelis. Some of it is weakly dyed with tchelis. Weak meaning shvach. W-E-A-K. You have to have enough light to see the difference. This is dyed better and this is not dyed as good. Tanya Rav Meir Omer. Other shiurim, big machloek is whether these are actually different times or whether they are different simanim. Mishiyakin ben ze'ev lekelab. You need to have enough natural light to differentiate between a wolf and a dog. For us city boys, it can be the emsa hayoim hazeh. I wouldn't know the difference. But if you know the difference, you just have to be able to tell. Rav Akiva Omer, ben chamoy lo orei, between a donkey and a wild donkey. I challenge people that are watching this if they know the difference. Good. But if you know what it is, you have to just be able to see it. You need to have enough light. You have to be close enough. You have to be 4 amas away from your chaver and be able to recognize it. Now, as all of the mefarshim speak out, if he's taka your chaver, you'll recognize him at night. Understand? From the way he walks. It means it's an acquaintance. It's not your chaver. You have to be able to recognize your fellow. Now, Pi Chasidis, that's very meaningful. Because like we mentioned, that the Arizal and the Alter Rebbe put in the Siddur that before you begin davening, say, you want to read the Shema of the morning, first recognize your fellow Jew, then go talk to God. And that's why you have to recognize your fellow. Like this, lit tefillin, ka'achedim. That's why we do tefillin, we do maftzayim, put on tefillin with others. But the back the pshat. For tefillin, taket, Acherim is relatively early. But for Kriya Shema, better not to start the Shema that early. Later. When later? Like the Vasikin, like the devout one. Says Rashi, what's the title of a Vasik? Vasik v'chasik, Vasik, Anoshim Anovim. It means people that are humble and they are mechaviv in mitzvah. They love to do a mitzvah.
So this is a whole new.
Now we're opening up a new ideal zman of reading the Shema. They would finish saying the Shema with the sunrise, as we'll see in a moment, because they wanted to daven Shmoyne Esrei with sunrise. So they said the Shema right before it. But that's
the earliest time?
That's not the earliest time. That's ideally when to say it. So tefillin, you can put on even earlier. And B'chal Yidin, today, at least we daven with our tefillin. It works. Today we have a big psuk of the Zimra. So Taki, you end up putting on the talis and the tefillin earlier. But you end up saying the Shema a little bit later. And now let's get into this whole Vasikin. Tanya Namiyachim. Vasikin. They would finish saying the Shema im haneitzachamo. And as we learned above, Kadesh Yismach Geula L'Tfila, the whole concept of Geula L'Tfila, and Gal Yisrael is the bracha that we say after the Kriya Shema Shal Shachris. Right now, also as we learned a lot also in Chasidus, now Ashgacha Pratzos, we just came off Parshas Vayigash. So Geula we learned is the concept of learning Torah. Tefillah is the concept of doing mitzvahs. Talmud Gadol, Maisa Gadol. That in the future it's taka going to be Maisa Gadol. So Geula is brought to Tefillah. But coming back to Pshat, in order to be Soymach Geula Tefillah, and what do we want? We want to daven Bayoim. Bayoim means at the beginning of the day, meaning at the beginning of Nates. So if you want to be Soymach Geula Tefillah, you can't say Shema 15 minutes earlier, 20 minutes earlier. So you say Shema much closer to the sunrise. Omar Rab Zera, where do we find the source for this in a pasuk? Ma'ikra. So we quote a pasuk in Tehillim, Yira Ucha. Yira Ucha means Veloshin Yira. We will express our fear to you. When do we express our Yira Shamayim, Kabbalah Soil, Shema Yisrael? That is done Im Shamesh. Im Shamesh means here, Shemona Esrei. We express our fear together with that which is done by sunrise. What is done by sunrise, Shemona Esrei? Right before that, Yira Ucha. And not only that, V'lifnei Yareach. Rashi says, V'lifnei Yareach, before the moon, this pasuk is mentioning the Mincha. So we express our Yira Shamayim before the Shemona Esrei that's said with the sunrise, Shachris, and the Shemona Esrei of Mincha. Before all that, we say Shema. Doir, this we do forever. Hey, right, Rabbi Yehuda. Yes, Rabbi Yehuda, I have a Rashi Tevis here. Rabbi Yossi, thank you. Hey, Rabbi Yossi ben Eliyakim, Mishum, Kahal HaKadosh Nishnu B'Yerushalayim. That call Hasoymech Ol Tefillah, whoever makes this emphasis, this effort to be masmech, to juxtapose, Gol Tefillah, Ein Nizay Kol Hayim Kulay, won't get heard during the day. In other words, bringing together what's called Chasidus, Torah learning and davening, bringing together Torah learning and davening, Torah learning and mitzvahs. Torah learning and mitzvahs. In other words, that you're not learning just to learn. You're learning because you're doing. Then you're learning properly. Then the learning is a learning. It's not learning just l'shem mitzvahs learning. You're learning to know how to behave. Amar Rab Zera. Eli, how can you tell me that if you do Soymech Geula Tefillah, you never get damaged? I always make the point of saying I'm Soymech Geula Tefillah, and Itazaki, and I did undergo a certain damage, and he was speaking about a financial damage, and he knew exactly what he was referring to. Amar Leibemai is takat, exactly what was your damage. Is it, like I think you're referring to, that the amtias, that you were forced to bring a myrtle to the king? In other words, he was forced to do a service to the king that was to his great expense, and he felt that was a nezek. So he says that wasn't a nezek. It was worth the money that you spent to be in service of the king, to bring him myrtles. You should have even paid money in order lemechse api malka to see the face of a king. As Rabbi Yochanan says, a person should make an effort to run likras malchi Yisrael, to run towards a Jewish king. It's important to see a king, and not only that, v'loy likras malchi Yisrael bilvad el afilu likras malchi akum. Why? Because she'im b'chokaisai teleich was not if, but when? Because when we will be zeicher to Mashiach, and then we'll see the ultimate king, we'll appreciate Mashiach much more by contrasting him. Notice we have to have a benchmark. If we never saw a king, we'll never appreciate Mashiach enough. Now let's see a king, even a non-Jewish king. Because then when we'll be Zoicha, Yafkin will appreciate Bein Malchei Yisrael LeMalchei Akum. So Eibazoi, you who felt that you were, so to say, that you needed to out of pocket a lot of money to do up service to the king that you thought you didn't want to do. You really wanted to do that and it was worth the money.
You actually made money.
You didn't make money, but you didn't lose money. Good. Amalei Rabbi La'ula. Ki Allah, ki Ailos, ki Oilas Lahasam. When you go up to Eretz Yisrael, and as Bechal we know, right at the end of Ksubas, I think that's where he passed away, that Ula traveled a lot. He went back and forth. Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, to Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. That when you, so they told Ula, when you go next time to Eretz Yisrael, She'el, you should ask, you should inquire, B'shloimai, to the peace. This is what Rabbi Elah is saying, of my brother Rav Beroina Achi. And you should inquire about his peace, dafke b'maimet kol chabura, in the presence of the whole chabura. So to honor him in public. Why should you honor him in public? The Adam Gadol. Why is he an Adam Gadol? What's the proof? Because the samach b'mitzvahs. Because he rejoices in doing mitzvahs. He's afreilecha. Zimnachana, there was a time that Samach go to Tefilla. There was a time that he was Samach go to Tefilla. And the whole day he couldn't stop smiling. What do you mean there was a time that he was saying a Gula Tefillah? Well, how is it so difficult to be saying a Gula Tefillah? And the way we're saying it, anyone can do it. To say the words, but it's not just about saying the words. If it's about Taka bringing together the concept of Gula to the concept of Tefillah, that's an avodah. However you will teach Gula and Tefillah.
And is timing it exactly by the nates? Was that the idea?
No, here it wasn't even about the nates. It was just by the fact that he brought it together. Whatever Geula represents, which we all do, technically, to do a B'pnimius, one time he really got it. And he was so, and what happened, he had a smile his whole day. A sign of a person that's connected to godliness is if they're happy. It's a cloud. Like we learned by Yaakov Avinu that when he was not happy, he didn't have Ruach HaKodesh. So in the reverse, if someone is imbued with Ruach HaKodesh, look at a Yid. If he's happy, he's holy. If there's a lack of joy, then he has to grow in his connection to God. The closer to God, the happier someone is. Now, how can you b'chlal juxtapose? Before you begin Shemona Esrei, you have to add the phrase Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. A pasuk in Tehillim, Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. And at the end, the question will be from the beginning, but let's finish quoting Rabbi Yochanan. So hold on. If after you say the words Gal Yisrael, you say Hashem Sfasei V'goymer, so how are you being masmech? So the first answer of the Gemara is Amar Rabbi Lazar. Tehei Zol Zayin, meaning let Rabbi Yochanan's teaching only be Tefillah Shel Arvis. In the morning, don't forget we left the Geula was in the morning. So in the morning, don't say Hashem Sfasai. Rabbi Yochanan says you say Hashem Sfasai only at night. Gemara says that's not what Rabbi Yochanan said. Rabbi Yochanan Ezeu ben Olam Haba Zahasoim Geula Shel Shachris LeTefillah Shel Arvis. I'm sorry, Geula Shel Arvis, Tefillah Shel Arvis. That means even at night. Elo Amar Rabbi Lazar, that hey betfilas mincha. Okay, so say Hashem Sfasei Tiftach by mincha. There is no bracha before the Shemona Esrei. Says the Gemara, can be. Tavashi Yomar Afilu Tema Kulu. No, it really every time you say the Shemona Esrei, you say Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. Right, Vekivan, the second widest line, but Vekivan the Kavu Arabanan Betfilah. Because once the Anshe Knesset Hagoyim goes way back. Once the Chazal said that this should be part of the Shemona Esrei, it became part of the Shemona Esrei. You have to be saying Geula to Tefillah. This is Tefillah. Get Tefillah Arichta Damya. And especially since the whole idea of Shemona Esrei is Bittul Ka'av the Kamemorim. The ultimate bittul b'metzias is when a person acknowledges that I cannot even speak. You, God Almighty, should open up my lips. That's the whole toichen of tefillah, of pure bittul. If you're not going to say, if we're not going to subscribe to the concept of tefillah richter, out of this, you just said that Rabbi Yochanan said, after Gal Yisrael, you have a whole new bracha. Ella kiven the takinu rabbanan hashkivenu. The hashkivenu is not part of the tefillah, but it's part of the geula. Ki geula richta dami. And maybe there's a deeper meaning to it, because Galus is sleeping. Galus is sleeping. So you would think that hashkivenu, avinu, lay us down. Galus, how is that geula? Because geula is when you take the aleph and you put it in the galus. You take the letter aleph, you put it in galus, you have the word geula. In other words, when I acknowledge that God laid me down to sleep, when you find God in the sleep, that's the geula. Okay, now that we mentioned the second statement of Rabbi Yochanan, that we should say Yehu l'ratzon imrifi, right? May the expression of my mouth find favor. Now, when would you say that? It makes just as much sense saying it at the end, you daven, and then you're asking Hashem that Hashem should find favor with that which our mouth expressed. It makes sense saying it before. Before you daven, Hashem, please find favor with that which my mouth will express in the future. So why did he put it at the end? Why not in the beginning? Michti, behold, it fits. It works to say it at the end. And then you are referring to that which you said prior. But it also, it makes sense to say this phrase, to say this pasuk regarding that which you are about to say. So since it can be put both at the end and in the beginning, and maybe let's add the link. We would say, put the least between one and the other. But now that we established the concept of Tefillah Richta, of Geula Richta, so you can add more. Why would you not add it? So I'll tell you why. Because the Shemona Esrei is supposed to mirror Tehillim. Where is this pasuk from? Tehillim Kapitel Yutes. The last pasuk of Kapitel Yutes is Yehu l'ratzon imrifi. So he put it at the end. But look at it. Put it at the end of the 18th. Of the 18th Kapitel. Lefikach takinu rabbanon, after the 18 brachas. So the Gemara right away pushes back. It's not true. In Tehillim it's after Yutes. Hani Yutches? No. Yutes Havyon. Answers the Gemara. Ashter yo ish. And the Lama Rogru Goyim. Chado Parshihi. Says the Marsha Gewalt. During Zman Bayesheni, that is where we put in, like Shimon HaKoten, I think, Balam Al-Shinim. And really, just to know the rule, that all of the brachas were written by Anshe Knesset Hagdoila, which means that they were also written with Nevuah, not later. Elomad, the Alter Rebbe writes this somewhere, maybe, I read this not that long ago, that when they wrote lechatchila 19 brachas, but we were not obliged to say them every day. Only when we felt there's a need for this tefillah of v'lamoshinim al tikva did we insert it. At a certain point, this man Bayesheni, they said you always have to say it. So says the Marsha that it was during that time that they added the chiyuv of adding the 19th bracha. Then is the time that they divided the first kapitel into two. Because they always wanted for the Shemona Esrei to mirror the Tehillim. So prior, Yehu l'ratzon was at the end of the kapitel Yutches. It fit, it was Yutches brachas. Now that they told us to daven every Shemona Esrei Yutes brachas, so they still wanted it to mirror the Tehillim. That is where the same Chachamim Bizmaneihem divided the first kapitel into two. The Amar Rabbi Yehuda Bereit Rav Shimon ben Pazi, that Kuf Gimel Parshiyas Amar David, and Veloy Amar Halaluka Ad Shera B'Mapalosim Shol Rishoyim. This type of praise of Hallelujah is dafka when the wicked have a downfall. Shinamar, as it says, and now the challenge will be, he's quoting not Tehillim Kuf Gimel, he's quoting Tehillim Kuf Daled, Barchi Nafshi. And what does it say? Yitamu Chatoim in Aretz. Right, the sinners or the sins should be finished, should end, should cease from the land. Urashoim Oideinom, Barchi Nafshi Es Hashem. Here's the first time Hallelujah. Now the same kasha on Rabbi Yehuda Bered Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi. Hold on. Kuf Gimel, Hani Kuf Gimel, Kuf Daled Havam. Elo Shmami no, Zacharaya. No, that originally the first two capitals were one. Ashrei Yishulam Aruk Shagoyim Chada Pashi. And therefore, Kapitel Kuf Daled used to be Kapitel Kuf Gimel. That's why he said Kuf Gimel Kapitlach. And therefore, coming back, initially, there was where the David HaMelech put in the words Yehulah Ratzon Mirfi at the end of Kapitel Yudches. Says the Rebbe Gavaldik that we have a minute that we are to say my personal daily Kapitel Tehillim, which means whatever age you are, if a person is 20, which Kapitel do they say? The year that they entered, Chaf Aleph. A person is 50, they say 51. Now you get the source. That's the Rebbe's word. What's the source? Kapitel Ayin Beis. Look at the end of Kapitel Ayin Beis. After Baruch Hashem. The last words is Kolu Tfilois David ben Yishai. Hold on, David ben Yishai, he compiled the whole Tehillim. Elomad, the Rebbe says like this. We know David HaMelech passed away when he was 70. David HaMelech began the minhag of saying the Kapitel for the next year. We learn in this Gemara that in the beginning, Aleph and Beis was 1. So what we have as Kapitel Ayin Beis, what was that number Bisman David HaMelech? Kapitel Ayin Aleph. He passed away when he was 70. And he said every day his daily Kapitel Tehillim, since he passed away when he was 70, while he was saying Kapitel Ayin Aleph, which is Kapitel Ayin Beis, Gavaldik, that's why it says, Kol Tfilah Zovinch. Now, huh? No, we should do, after they divided it. Especially when we're speaking about Kuf Yud Ches and Kuf Yud Tes, let's keep it the way it is. Whenever David HaMelech loved a certain Kapitel Tehillim, Pasach Baba Ashrei, Visim Baba Ashrei. Pasach Ba Ashrei, the first Tehillim opens up Ashrei, who is praiseworthy is the man, and he ended that Kapitel with the words Ashrei. Where did we find these words, the Chsiv? Now he's quoting the last words of Kapitel Beis. Ashrei kol choiseboy, right? Pray, lucky is the man that trusts in God. So you see that it's the same Kapitel. Asks Tosfos, kol parsha shehoya chaviva. Kol parsha means whenever he loved a parsha, whenever you find me one other Kapitel Tehillim that begins with Ashrei and ends with Ashrei. It's the only one. So how can you write Kol Parsha? Answers Tosfos, the Gemara doesn't mean dafka the words Ashrei. It means that he opens and he closes with the same expression that you find often. All the halalukas, ba'ayin b'Tosfos. Let's chapar in another few lines. Now, Hanu biryoinei, where do they have biryoinei? Gittin nun vav, right? The Abba Sikra, Reish biryoinei, the bandits, the mafiosos, the gangsters, that's Azal Loshem. There were biryoinim that they lived in the name of Rabbi Meir. Bahava kommt style in Tuba. Bahava kommt style lahu Tuba, and they harassed him. Hava kommt Rabbi Meir, Rachmei love value. Rabbi Meir was davening that what kehechad l'musa that they should die. Amalei Beruria, the Visu, Rabbi Meir's wife Beruria, tells her husband Rabbi Meir, "My die toch? Why you davening for them to die? Is it because you're thinking about the pasuk Yitamu Chatoim that may they finish?" Right? May they cease to be on the earth? No. Miksiv chaytim. Is that verse referring to the sinners? Chatoim ksiv. It's referring to, says Rashi, the Yetzer Hara, the cause of their sin. And what's my proof? And here Beruria is teaching us how to learn. When you want to understand how to teach a verse, look at the context. Look at the continuation. V'oid, furthermore, shfil, go down, l'seifei dikra. And what does it say in the end of this verse? Urashoim oid einam. So she said Gavaldik. When you're saying kivun the yatamu chatoim, just because if all of the wicked people now cease to exist, Urashoim oid einam, they'll never be Urashoim. Tomorrow will come new Urashoim. So chatoim is not speaking about people, because people can come and go, but they can come back. Other people can come back. Elot must be chatoim means made the source of sin. What's the source of sin? The Yetzer Hara. The sinners, they should do tshuva. Eloboy rachmi elovayu delahadri v'tshuva. Ask, they should do tshuva, and automatically, and also daven u'rishoyim oideinam, meaning daven for the Yetzer Hara to go away. So don't daven for those biryonim to die. Boy rachmi loving. So Rav Meir daven that what? For hadru with tshuva, that they should do tshuva. And there comes the kasha. How can you daven for someone else to do tshuva? Asks the Marsha when there's a rule. Hakol b'dei shamayim, chutz miras shamayim. So the Marsha says, Meila, when it comes to a person davening for their own yiras shamayim, at least I'm making the effort to daven for me. Of course, I need to have God's help, but my ask is at least my effort. But davening for someone else that they should do tshuva. So asks the Marsha, and he says, V'yesh liyashiv. But he doesn't say what the answer is. The answer is clear. Coming back to Avos Yisrael. Once the Marsha explains that it makes sense for me to daven from my own yiras shamayim, being that all Yidden are the same neshama. Right? Tanya Lamed Beis. So we're all part of the same being. And Bachal by the Rabbein, that's we know this from many Sipurim, that when people came to the Yeshivas and they asked the Rebbe for a solution, the Rebbe would have to find that fault, Lefi Madrei Gosoy, in the Rebbe himself. And then he, on that sublime level, will do his own tshuva. And that will lift up the other Yid that's with him. In other words, you don't daven for someone else. You have to include everyone in one group, and all of us together will do tshuva, and Mashiach is coming to be continued.
All right, what's the seder? Vasikin needs Alisa Shachar?
Vasikin is, I think they daven it 5 minutes before Nates.
So when's Alisa